Speaker, can I start by congratulating the Minister on the Orwellian doublespeak of her opening remarks? I'm sure she'll go far in this government. But, Mr Speaker, those of us who support independent press regulation have over the years received a number of lectures on press freedom from the benches opposite, so it ill behoves the Minister to dodge our reasonable questions today. She herself has mentioned how important the union is to her. So can I ask her this? It is well established, and I've spoken to members of the Scottish lobby about this morning, that the Scottish media outlets were excluded from this briefing yesterday. Can I ask her to clarify a very simple question? Was that an oversight, or was it deliberate?
Mr Speaker, I've already explained.
Deputy Speaker. Where governments fear freedom of expression, they often try to shut down media and civil society or clip their wings. A free media is vital to creating a vibrant, informed and engaged population and helps to support a safer, more prosperous and progressive world. The words of the Prime Minister in 2017 as Foreign Secretary. Why does he now think that freedom of the press is important everywhere except Downing Street?
Because he's a hypocrite.
Because the Honourable Lady is wrongly describing the situation. The Prime Minister stands by those words, and as do I.
Speaker, clearly the Minister cannot defend what's happened, and therefore she's providing a masterclass in whataboutery. Because yesterday, Downing Street announced that there's a new show in town, and we are doing this simply because we can. It was deliberately sinister, knowingly provocative, and I'm sure those involved are celebrating the fact that they got an urgent question out of it. What happened yesterday was out of President Trump's playbook for bullies, and I'm sure those involved are feeling pretty smug about it. Can I ask the Minister, did she and her colleagues know that this is the type of government that they were voting for when they so enthusiastically backed Boris?
Madam Deputy Speaker, the type of government we're talking about is the type that has just won a resounding majority at a general election and has the support of the people. I think that is a pretty good answer to his question.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the Scotsman journalist Parat Scotsianis tweeted that Downing Street didn't tell Scottish or regional journalists about this briefing. So can she tell me why she doesn't value Scottish media? And would she agree with me that it's difficult to report outside the Westminster bubble if the government doesn't invite Scottish journalists?
Madam Deputy Speaker, I've already answered that point a few times, and the answer again is this. Any member of the lobby with a press pass is more than welcome to put any question to the government in the lobby arrangements. That is how that works. That goes for journalists from any corner of our United Kingdom. We on this side of the House are a unionist party. We think that that should be. We think that that kind of practice should be more than possible to run across the nations of our wonderful country. We welcome close cooperation between. The people and the press of Scotland and every other part of our United Kingdom, which shall stay, I hope, united in that way. And all of that, again, is supplemented by what we're offering here as technical briefings, which I hope can be. Read as spreading across the Union in that way.
Garrett Nichols.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I advise the Minister it's not a particularly good look if she's trying to come across as representing a government that's in favour of freedom of expression and freedom of the press, for the question to be preceded by somebody from the Whip's office scurrying along the green benches, desperately handing out crib sheets to tell their own backbenchers what questions to ask and what questions not to ask. This is a government who responded to critical coverage on Channel 4 by suggesting that Channel 4 should be closed down. This is a government that responded to critical coverage on the BBC by suggesting scrapping the licence fee, effectively closing down the BBC. So the media have got good cause to be concerned. The Minister's excuses were twofold as far as I can tell. One is that this is a specialist briefing, so presumably the other journalists who were thrown out are not clever enough or specialist enough to understand it. Or secondly, that somehow only certain newspaper readers would be interested in what was to be reported. Who is it that decides, Madam Deputy Speaker, what the press are interested in reporting? Surely freedom of the press means the editor decides what the readership is interested in and not the Prime Minister.
Madam Deputy Speaker, and that is why we have lobby arrangements that means that every editor, any journalist with a press pass is more than able to ask any question it likes of the government.
Stephen Flynn.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The briefing that took place was in relation to our future relationship with the European Union. Well, my constituency in Aberdeen is projected to be the hardest hit city in the entire UK as a result of Brexit, yet the Westminster correspondent for the local press and journal in Aberdeen was not invited. Indeed, no Scottish lobbyists were invited to that briefing. So I ask the Minister, does the contempt that this government shows to Scotland now extend to our press corps too?
No, it doesn't, because we are proudly serving the people of Scotland in ensuring that we have that future prosperity and opportunity through the negotiations we are conducting with the European Union for our future relationship. I have every hope that will be as good for his constituents as it is for my constituents, as it is for the constituents across, represented across this chamber. And it is right and proper that it is the United Kingdom government that does that on behalf of the whole country. That can be held fully to account here in this chamber and on the very many channels that I've spoken about throughout this session.
Thank you. Statement.
If there are no further takers... But, point of order, Mr Grady.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I just noticed that it's now 5:10. The Minister is about to get to his feet. If the knife falls at 5:30 while the Minister is still speaking or a division is underway, can you confirm that that means there will be no report stage and that means no chance for the SNP amendments to be tabled or voted on?
The honourable gentleman is absolutely right in his statement of the procedure. If we finish this part of the procedure before 5:29, then there will be a very short time for the next part of the procedure. If this part of the consideration of the bill goes to 5:29, there will indeed be no time for the report and consideration stage. That is correct, as is normal in any bill. But I'm grateful to the honourable gentleman for pointing it out so clearly. Minister.